Prophets, Rabbi, are we masking or unmasking?
You can unmask. Yeah, you can unmask. That's fine. Do you happen to have a pen by any chance?
No, I
Pen?
don't.
No. Okay, fine. And Michael, you're gonna do a Geffen first.
Geffen,
Yeah.
and then... Geffen.
Perfect.
And then,
Yes, and then charcoal. Yeah,
charcoal.
beautiful. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
You know Jay, right? Jay
From the yeshiva.
Yeah, what's his last name? How do you pronounce his last name?
I don't know. Do you know?
Shucks.
What?
How do you pronounce Jay's last name?
What's Jay's last name?
Jay's-
Which
From the
Jay?
yeshiva guy? Jake?
Okay, fine.
Jay, what's his last name?
How do you pronounce it? Cornich or Corna or Cornrich?
I'm not sure.
I'll ask. Mazel tov. I'm good. Baruch Hashem. Good. Okay, we're about to do it. Oh, yeah. So only good things.
Yes.
Really.
This is wonderful.
Yeah.
רבי, היא בטח יודעת, האחות של...
כן, אני אבדוק, בסדר, מקסימום אני אקרא לו בשם הפרטי. יש לי את הטריקים שלי, זה בסדר. מזל טוב, סנבייו. מזל טוב.
Better day.
Beautiful, isn't it? And I love the backdrop of the lake.
I just hope that golfer doesn't decide.
I was thinking of that. Like a Happy Gilmore scene. You remember the movie? Yeah. Yeah.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. We're about to officially begin. Please
What
take your
Brian
seats.
did
Thank
yesterday
you.
by going to Torah is what the sons of Israel did was he was dying.
It's true.
And they say Shema.
It's true.
That was the same
true.
kind of
His name is
essence.
Yisrael. Beautiful. Mazel tov, everybody. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. You're gonna stand here, and Renee and Jonathan, you're gonna stand on your son's side, right there. We can move this a little. Just a year and a half ago, right?
Huh?
Just a year and a half ago.
Yeah? Not even.
Oh, yeah.
He's just whispering.
under the chuppah. Stand in the middle. You're going to circle him 7 times. You're going to circle him 7 times.
Yeah.
So stand in the middle. In the middle, facing the crowd. And then hold her gown. She's going to circle him 7 times. Ladies and gentlemen, as is the Jewish custom, I'd like to ask Adeena to begin this ceremony by circling Brian 7 times. 7 is the number of completion, and this symbolizes the completion of the souls coming into one at this very holy moment. Kavod Adeena, please. You'll do the counting. 1, 2. This is 4. Now 5. Now you're doing it to 5. All right, 2 more.
Oh, 2 more.
One for good luck.
Just to make.
I'll
Just to make
7
her
the
head
other way.
spin.
No. Your turn. You do 7
All
around.
right, one more. One last.
One more.
One final one to go. Okay. That's it. Okay. That's it. Now you go here. You'll be on his right side. On his right side. This side. Yeah, I'll stand here.
Facing?
Yeah. Facing this way. You guys can face each other. And then you have the gown. Perfect. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. A mazel tov to Brian and to Adeena as their souls merge into one during this holy and intense moment. Friends, I'd like to ask everyone to please rise. As we begin the ceremony, as our sages teach, with a moment of silence in order to welcome not just all those that are united here physically, but also to welcome all those that are here spiritually. We are taught that all of the souls of the relatives of both Adeena and Brian come down here under the chuppah to participate in their joy during this special moment. I want to extend a particular welcome to Grandpa Z, Adeena's paternal grandfather, whose talis also adorns this chuppah, to Grandpa Marvin, Brian's maternal grandfather, whose talis also adorns this chuppah, Grandpa Jack, Brian's paternal grandfather, whose talis also adorns this chuppah, and Uncle Alan Kulakovsky, Brian's paternal uncle, whose talis is on the 4th corner here also of this chuppah. I'd also like to make a special mention of Brian's paternal grandmother, Frances Fox, who along with all of these souls mentioned and beyond are no doubt with us at this moment. Let us take this moment of silence so that they can connect to us and we can connect to them. May be seated. All right, Brian, are we ready for this? You're going to say the Shechianu, and then you're going to wrap Adeena with the talis a little bit, and then you can put it back on your shoulders, okay? I'm just going to explain what this is. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask now Brian to lead us with the blessing of Shechianu over this beautiful talit. The blessing of Shechianu, as many of you know, is a blessing recited for everything new in Judaism. You are beginning your new journey called life together in unison. Thus this Shechianu on this beautiful talit. The talit is not just a prayer shawl, but as the Kabbalists teach, it is also the hug of God. And no doubt God himself is hugging both of you during this holy moment so that he too can shower upon you all of his blessings now and forever. Say blessing. Baruch.
Baruch
Atah
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Shechianu
shechianu
v'kiyamanu
v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Amen. Okay, now. Both of you. There you go. Hugged by God. And then you'll place it on your shoulders. On your shoulders. Good. That's it. You absorb the hug? Yes?
Yes.
All of the blessings. Beautiful. All right. Friends, it's now my honor and pleasure to call both sets of parents to place their hands on the beloved child's head so that they can bless them with the blessing of their heart. Whatever words come out are the words of the blessing. There is no script for this. Please go ahead.
Amen.
All right. Okay, Uncle Art. Uncle Art now for the priestly blessing.
Uncle Art.
Ladies and gentlemen, as is the custom, we'll also ask Uncle Art now, who's a Cohen, a priest, to share with us and with the bride and the groom the priestly blessing. The Kohanim, the priest, have a special power to bless others. No doubt the words of your blessing will now come true too. Uncle Art, we thank you for this honor to the bride and the groom. You can repeat after me. Just come under the chuppah. Come a little more and let him come in. All right. Yevarechecha
Yavarechtecha
Adonai
Adonai
v'yishmerecha.
Lishmerecha
Ya'er
Va'er
Adonai
Adonai
panav
Panav
elecha
Elecha
v'chuneka.
Vechunecha
Isa
Isa
Adonai
Adonai
panav
Panav
elecha
Elecha
v'yasem
Riasen
lecha
Lecha
shalom.
Shalom
Amen.
Amen.
V'samu
Lesamu
et
Et
shemi
Shemi
al bnei
Al B'nai
Yisrael
Israel
va'ani
Va'ani
avarechem.
Avarchem.
Amen.
Amen.
You can say it in Hebrew, in English also if you want. We'll translate it. May God bless you and protect you.
May God bless you and protect you.
May he shine his countenance upon you
May He shine His countenance upon you
and give you grace.
and give you grace
May he give you the ultimate blessing
and give you the ultimate blessing
of peace.
of peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Uncle Art. All right, friends, our chant will join the chants of the birds as we sing the blessing over the wine. This is the blessing of the culmination of Brian and Adeena's engagement, Birkat HaIrusin. And we'll ask then Brian and Adeena to drink a little bit of the wine to absorb not just the wine, but also all of the blessings that will reside upon it. All right, are we ready? It's already spilling. It's good to have white wine. All right. Savri Maranan, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei peri הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על האריות, ואסר לנו את הארוסות, והתיר לנו את הנשואות על ידי חופה וקידושין. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש עמו ישראל על ידי חופה וקידושין. A little bit. I'll give some to Adeena too. Okay. Aaron has the ring, right?
Yeah.
Better. Friends, it's now my honor to call upon Aaron, Brian's brother, to deliver the ring to Brian. This is Brian's ring that he will place on Adeena's finger in just a moment. Let's make sure you have the ring. Okay.
It's the wrong one.
That's the wrong one.
Okay, so where's the other
Is there
one?
another one?
Where's Adeena's one? Okay, where's the other one?
It'll make do.
Okay, is this yours? Whose is this?
It's okay. We're good.
What's that? No, whose is this? It needs to belong to Brian.
That's still mine.
Okay, so can you gift it to Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah? You're gifting it to Brian? Because he has to give you his own ring.
Yeah.
He can't just give you... Okay, we'll get another one. That's a good sign. Is it accessible
Do you have
somewhere?
No. Then
You do have it?
so he can't give it to me.
All right, friends, we have the ring, but it's not under the chuppah right now. It will be under the chuppah in just a few moments. Well, it needs to belong, as long as you've gifted this, it needs to belong to you.
Yes.
Yes, forever. This is his now.
After 62 years, yeah.
Oh no, it's yours.
Yeah, it's my grandma's wedding.
So then I wouldn't take it from
So
her,
then we can wait.
because it needs to belong to you. Okay, we can wait. Anyway, we have to call upon the witnesses to witness this act of giving of the ring as the ring is being brought. It's my honor and pleasure to call upon Harris Weissman and also Jay. Oh, Jay, you're right here to witness the giving of the ring. Friends, just a few words about the giving of the ring that I know is coming any moment. But the giving of the ring, ladies and gentlemen, is not just a nice gesture by the groom to his bride. By quite profoundly, this giving of the ring symbolizes that you, Brian and Adeena, are now joining your ring to the everlasting chain of the nation of Israel that began with Abraham and Sarah, a chain that teaches all of the good Jewish values, Torah and mitzvot. By joining your ring to this chain, you two are committing to carrying their torch onward and upward always.
Switch them back.
Beautiful. We got it. Okay, this is yours now. Witnesses, this is his, you see it? And it's Shaveh Pruta. It's worth more than a few cents. Yes? Okay, you saw it? All right. I'm going to ask you to repeat after me, and you can take out your index finger. And you're going to say, Hooray.
Hooray.
Come watch this. Go ahead, put it on the finger. Say, Hooray.
Hooray.
At.
At.
Mekudeshet.
Lekudeshet.
Li.
Li.
Betabat.
Letabat.
Zu.
Zu.
Kedat.
Kedat.
Moshe.
Moshe.
VeYisrael.
VeYisrael.
Mekudeshet, Mekudeshet, Mekudeshet. Mazel Tov. You can move it to any other finger you want. Friends, with this ring, they are now bound in this everlasting cycle of life together forever and ever to eternity. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my honor to call upon Rabbi Yossi Levatov, Executive Director of Chabad of Scottsdale, to lead us with the reading of the ketubah that was signed just a few moments ago. Ketubah is the marriage contract indeed, in which Brian promises to commit himself entirely with physical actions to his bride, Adeena.
ואחד בשבס, 23 יום, לחודש עד השנס 15,780, ואחס למניין שנה מוינים קם, סקאטסטייל, אריזונה. איך חסן ישראל, דוד בן צדק ראובן, אמר לאדב סולטה עדינה, בתיה, בת דניאל זליג. Have Lili into das Moshe Yisrael, van Eflach Weker Weisen, Vesfarnes Yischilichi, Hilchas Gavroin, Yudan Lefalchin, Makaroin, Vezanin, Mafarsin, Shein, Bikushta, Vayavina Lechi, Moyar, Sulaichi, Kesef, Zuzi, Masan, the Chazlim, Chimi, the Raisi. Vidu Mizunaichi, Vikusaichi, Visipukaichi, Mail, Vasaichi, Koida Koladovitz, Vias, Modus, Adeena Batya, Sultada, Vahavaloi, the into Vidan, the Dunya, the Hanalas, Lemi, Bema, Avu, Bema Kasa, Bema Bazav, Bem, Betachshit, Bemadi Lavushal, Vishimusha Data, Vishimusha Darsa, Hakel Kibalav, Yisrael, David, Chassan, the Nan, Bemeas Cooking Kasaf Tzarov, Vitzavi, Yisrael, David, Chassan, Denan, Vaisel, Minilei, Meas, Cooking, Kesef, Tzadaf, Acherim, Kenegdan, Sachakal, Masayin, Zukokim, Kesef, Tzadaf, Kacham, Yisrael, David, Chatanan, Achraya, Stark, Sevasdal, Duni, David, Sefdal, Kabbalis, Alive, Al Yasei, Asrael, Isparim, Mikol, Shepherd, Arig, Nichsin, Kinyanin, the Islay, Techay, Lisat, Chais, Kol Shmai, the Kinoy, with Asan, all the Mikno, Nechasan, the Islo, Hina Chrayas, the Leson Chrayas. Kolon je heen achrein, waarin lefraim in heen stark, zo was dan de niet afgestefte dan, min nou, I feel min glimmer de alkaspe. Shirt off your back. We ga je bassen ga je, min jammer de nan alam, we ga je stark, zo was dan de niet afgestefte dan, kibbel Allah Israël David, Chassan en ik ga je bekal stark, zo was, met de sefte, en hagen we beneis Israël, als ik het tukken, ga gamenu, zich rein labracha, de leukas machten, we leuke tapse de stare, Uknina min Yisrael David ben Sadik Ruvin Chassan al Maris Adeena Batya Bat Zelig Psulta Da Al Kol Mad Kasum Furish Leil B'Mad the Kasher Lemikna By Hakel Shar V'Kayim Neum the signature Tzvi Ben Rafal Abba Halevi L'Shpachas Weizman Chaim Baruch Ben Meir Halevi L'Shpachas Kornech.
Very good. Now, you want to say a few words about it?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we'll ask Brian. Brian, before you put it back. Okay, we're going to ask Brian, since this is his utter commitment to Adeena, we're going to ask you to give this document now to Adeena. You can smile at the cameras as you do so, Brian. Go ahead, give it to Adeena. And again, by doing so, you are committing yourself completely and entirely to Adeena and to all of her needs and desires. All right, Adeena, you can give it to your mother, and you can protect it for her. Okay? And then we can put it back on the easel. Okay. All right. It's now my pleasure to ask Rabbi Levitov to share with us a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Rabbi Lush. Brian and Adeena. Just a couple of minutes, the Sheva Brachas, the 7 divine blessings and prayers will be bestowed upon you. So let me add my own words of bracha to you, bride and groom. A Jew finds purpose in the meaning of the weekly Torah portion. Your wedding day falls in the week when we read 2 Torah portions, Vayakel and Pekudei. About 250 verses next Shabbos. Vayakel means assembled or gather, emphasizing how all the assembled members merge identity to form a whole. Pekudei, on the other hand, means counting, how every individual counts as a separate entity, not as a community. In your lives together, you'll always need to merge the friction between the whole and its parts, between community life and personal life, between the two of you, bringing both together as one, while retaining your own personality and individuality. So when these 2 Torah portions come together, the Torah is teaching and giving you the spiritual potential to harmonize these 2 opposing qualities. Vayakel teaches us the quality of being part of something greater than the whole. Pekudei teaches us how each of you have your own talents, your own gifts to share and to give. You may be aware that the 12 tribes of Israel are compared to different animals. Fox and fish are not on the list. But they do feature in this story from the Talmud, in which Rabbi Akiva describes the following encounter. A fox was walking alongside a river and saw fish that were gathering and running from place to place, as if they were fleeing from something. The fox asked the fish, "From whom are you running away?" "From the nets which are trying to catch us." The fox responded, "Is it your wish to come unto dry land where you will be safe from the nets? Just as our ancestors dwelled together, we can do the same, you and I." To which the fish replied, "I'm sorry, but I need water to survive." Brian, today you finally got your catch. Chassan and Kala, you both come from families who represent Vayakel, community building. At the same time, you must ensure Pekudei, that the individual thrives and grows and is not lost to the whole. In addition to your obligations, the obligations that Brian is committed to in the ketubah that we just read, you signed, you'll always cherish, honor, and support your beloved, which of course includes commitment to provide Adeena with a Telsa Model X, fully loaded, Amex Black, and all the other good stuff. But in seriousness, Rabbi Akiva is teaching us that in addition to sharing and caring, there must be water. What is water? Ein mayim ela Torah. We are taught that water is a reference to Torah. A home must be built on a foundation of Torah and mitzvahs, that in our lifetime, that is our lifeline, that is our energy. So my dear bride and groom, Chassan and Kala, as you start off your new life together, I would like to give you a bracha that there should be no shortage of water. You should build a true home, a Jewish home on a foundation based on Torah and mitzvahs, building community, while at the same time cherishing and respecting each other, bringing nachas to your parents, to your grandparents, to your community, and to Am Yisrael. Mazel tov.
Amen. Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Thank you so much, Rabbi Levitov. Amen. Amen. Okay, hold on. I'm going to say a few words to each other. Are we ready? The moment has come, ladies and gentlemen. It's now my honor and privilege to ask Brian and Adeena to share a few words with one another. We'll begin with you, Brian.
Adeena, as you know, I'm an extremely indecisive person. You know how long it takes me to pick what we're going to eat for dinner sometimes. I like to deliberate for a while, stew on it. But asking you to marry me was the easiest decision I've ever made. When I first met you on a blind date, I could tell from the get-go that you were smart, caring, and humble, and that I would marry you one day. Since then, I have learned so much more about you, and I've loved all of it. You continue to make me laugh, like just last week, when I said, we should maybe practice our first dance. And you said, like this? Or when you bust out a random beatbox, or when you do one of your many hysterical accents. And you continue to push and inspire me to be a better person. You genuinely care for everyone. Doesn't matter if you've known them forever or only a short time, and I admire you for that. I also love that you are so close with your family, as I am with mine. Going to 2 Shabbat dinners every Friday and spending time with each other, each of our families, is definitely the highlight of my week, every week. I love you unconditionally, and I promise to love and care for you and to never leave the lights or the toilet seat up. Well, actually, I don't know if I can promise those last two, but I will stand by your side through the good and the bad, and I will dedicate myself to you. I will love you forever.
Brian, when you proposed, I didn't say yes. I instead said, duh. I literally blurted out, duh. Duh seemed fitting. You're my best friend, and I knew you were the one after only a few months. You are so kind, caring, intelligent, funny, and the best partner in crime a girl could ask for. Saying duh was the easiest decision of my life. I can't wait to spend the rest of our lives together. Before we do that, though, I would like to promise you a few things. I promise to always give you a fair warning when I'm cutting onions in the kitchen, because I know they make you cry. I promise to always listen to your issues with Excel or Power BI, even though it all sounds like gibberish to me. I promise to try new things, like a 3-hour ropes course in Flagstaff, or skiing, even though I still cannot get the hang of pizza, French fry. Why do I have to pick between the two? I would like to eat them both. Thank you. I promise to go on late-night ice cream runs with you, to grab a snack for our Netflix marathons. I promise to sing on the top of my lungs with you on road trips or while we do the dishes, even though I am completely tone deaf. But more importantly, I promise to love you forever and always.
Thank you so much. Wow, thank you so much, Brian and Adeena. Friends, the French existentialist Albert Camus would say that very often people can be categorized by body parts. Some people are like the brain because they are intellectuals. Some people are like the heart because they are givers. Some people are like the hands because they are doers. I dare ask the question to everyone here, but we have no time. How would you categorize Brian and Adeena, our bride and our groom today? I thought of this question a lot in the past few days, and I must say, yes, you are brains, because you are indeed very wise. You are doers and therefore hands, because you do so much. But what rises above all is your heart. You are one big heart together that gives and gives and gives, feels and feels and feels not yourselves, but always the other before you. Winston Churchill famously said that humility is not thinking less of yourself, but it's thinking of yourself less. As we all know, Adeena and Brian think of themselves, yes. It's always you and you and you and me that come before them. Thus their heart, no doubt, is so moving, not just to all those who are blessed to know you, but to the world itself. Friends, I find it no coincidence that you chose to marry one another the Sunday after the Shabbat, in which we read yesterday in synagogue together, and you read so beautifully, Brian, this portion of Kitisa, which opens up with the commandment of giving. It is Moses telling the Jewish people, V'natnu ish kofer nafsho, everyone should give to the tabernacle that was to be built for God in the 40-year journey in the desert. It's interesting to note that our sages teach that they gave so much that Moses had to appear to them and say, stop, stop, we have it all already. This was probably the only capital campaign in the history of the world in which that happened. But indeed, they gave and gave and gave. Now you are marrying one another with those words still ringing in our ears, V'natnu. Why? Because you embody that very commandment. But it goes further. The Jewish people were also asked to give half a shekel to the tabernacle on top of the donation. Why half a shekel? The Jewish sages teach it was to teach them that each and every one of us is only a half. It is only when we join another half, that we become whole, that we become complete. Today, Brian and Adeena, your beings of giving are joining each other, and thus you are becoming whole. As mentioned before, 1 + 1 equals indeed 1. But it is not just your beings that are becoming whole, but it is your beings tied with our beings that make us all whole, make us all complete, and join your heart, your big heart, with ours. My dear Rabbi of blessed memory, Rabbi Dean Steinsaltz, would often say that in life you only truly own what you give. What you take never goes with you, but what you give stays in the hearts of people forever and ever. Adeena and Brian, you embody that teaching too, and therefore you are very rich. You own so much. As I met you, Brian and Adeena a little bit later than Brian, I recognized your heart. Then I said to myself, it's no coincidence also that your names in Hebrew are Israel and Adeena. Israel, as many of you know, is the name that was given to our forefather Jacob, who in spite of the challenges of life never stopped giving. He faced pain and suffering, maybe his entire life, but he was always facing outward, ensuring that his heart could touch someone else's heart. Thus he created the Jewish family, because by his giving, he created continuity. Israel, by your giving, you too are creating continuity. And no doubt, you too will become a father of Israel like that initial Jacob, like that initial Israel. That Israel that continues to live in us and through us on and on. And Adeena, I don't know if you know, but I was so jealous of your name that I decided to name my daughter, who was born just a few weeks ago, Adeena too. But Adeena is not just a special name because in Hebrew it means gentleness. But Adeena also was the mother of Rebekah, who was married to the evil Laban. And many ask, how could a Rebekah come from that union? And all the Midrashim point to Adeena. It was thanks to Adeena, her gentleness, her dedication, her love, her virtues, her values, her determination that made Rivka, and eventually made Rivka, Rebecca, the mother of the Jewish people. Friends, don't be fooled by the subtlety and softness of Brian and Adeena especially. Indeed, Adeena means gentle, but deep inside, you have a heart that pulsates with love. Deep inside, you have a soul that shines with unreserved light. Deep inside, you have a being that is filled with joy and a thirst to share that joy with you. With your unity now combined, your oneness, your 1 + 1 = 1. No doubt that giving, no doubt those virtues will continue to impact so many of us and illuminate our world forever and ever. If you'll allow me to conclude with just the story of the Bolshevik Rebbe, since Passover is coming up. Rabbi Yisrael Sapira was one of the great rabbis who survived the Holocaust after his own wife and his only daughter were murdered in front of him. Rabbi Yisrael Sapira was once facing Passover coming up in 1944, and he said to himself, we have to organize an oven to bake matzah. Miracle of miracles, he organized that oven. But as they were celebrating the first matzah that came out of this oven, a Nazi marched into their barrack, stomped on this oven, and said to these Jews, you filthy Jews, do you really think that you'll have matzah for Passover? He left. The Bolshevik Rebbe finds some crumbs that were left from this evil act. And he put it in his pockets, put those crumbs in his pockets. When Passover came about, he said to the Jews, I have some crumbs. I have some matzah. The question arose, though, who will receive this matzah? Some said it's the adults, some said it's the elderly. There was one woman by the name of Brunia who said, no, it should be the children. The children? They don't even have to fulfill the mitzvah of Passover. Rabbi Spira immediately said, Brunia is right. The children ought to receive these crumbs, none of us should. He gave those crumbs to the children. After all, he said, these are our future. This is what we're all about. Giving and giving and giving to create continuity, to create a future. This is what you're about, Brian and Adeena. You received this heart, no doubt, from your own respective families that are so involved, that have revolutionized their own respective communities. Congregation Beth Tefillah at our community, and at Chabad of Scottsdale. And I wish you, with the blessing, that you take this heart, that you take these crumbs, and they're much more than crumbs, that you received from your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors, all the way to Adeena, all the way to Israel, and you continue to give to create continuity, and then no doubt, your world and our world will be brighter and shinier, and no doubt, filled with redemption, until the ultimate redemption of the coming of Mashiach. May it come speedily. Amen ve'amen. Okay, I'm going to make you a little more drunk now. You're going to drink from the second cup, and we're going to proceed with the 7 blessings. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now proceed with the 7 blessings. Again, the number 7, a number of completion. It is my honor to call upon Adeena's uncle, Michael Hammerman, to lead us with the first 2 blessings of these 7 blessings. Yeah, you can take off. Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. Okay, we're gonna. Right. For the 3rd blessing, it's my honor to call upon Uncle Mitch to lead us again with this 3rd blessing. Okay, we have. Okay, you can repeat after me. Baruch. Oh, you have it. Beautiful. Amen. Good job. Thank you, Uncle Mitch. For the fourth blessing, it's my honor to call upon Uncle Howard, uncle of Brian, to lead us again with this fourth blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yotzer et ha'adam b'tzalmo b'tzelem damut tavnito v'hitkin lo mimenu binyan adei ad Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'adam.
Amen. Thank you, Howard. Thank you. For the fifth blessing, it's my honor to call upon Uncle Dan, Ryan's uncle, to lead us.
Sos Tazis Bataka al Ha'akara Bakibutz B'nei Vasot Basimcha Baruch Atah Adonai Nesamea Ziot Babanaha.
Amen.
Later.
Thank you, Uncle Dan. For the sixth blessing, it's my honor to call upon Uncle Mark, Brian's uncle, also to lead us.
Sameach Samach Vayim Ha'avim Kesameach Sacha Tzri Haba Geran Adan Mikadim Baruch Atah Adonai V'Sameach Hatan V'Chala.
Amen. And for the final blessing, it's my honor to call upon Rabbi Mendel Weisfish to lead us with the seventh and final blessing, the blessing that creates this completion as mentioned. Come under the chuppah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bara sasan v'simcha chasan v'chala asher bara sasan v'simcha chasan v'chala gila rina nitza v'chedva rava v'yachva shalom v'lelut me'eira Adonai Yishama bar Yehuda ובחוצה ירושלים כל ששון וכל שמחה כל חסן וכל קלה כל מצלת חסר מחפשם ונערים משתי נגינתם ברוך אתה אדוני משמח חסן עם הקלה.
Okay, drink a little, Brian. Ready for this? Here, by the way, parents, you want to drink a little? No, you good? You want to drink a little? You can drink a little. Oh, that's right. All right, friends, in conclusion, we'll now proceed with the breaking of the glass, which is the very final step of this chuppah ceremony, the breaking of the glass performed by Brian, our groom. The reason, friends, we break this glass is first and foremost to remind you, Brian, that this will be the very last time you will be putting your foot down. Marriage begins now. And the key words are yes, dear, yes, dear, yes, dear. But more seriously, my friends, we also break the glass to remind us that we cannot sink in our own individual joy until the joy of our nation is complete. And yes, we are still crying, we are still praying each and every day for the reconstruction of Jerusalem. So we join our joy and our pain with that this breaking of the glass symbolizes with the plea of our nation. But finally, and my favorite reason, is that we break this glass to teach you, Adeena and Brian, what the real secret of a happy marriage is. What is the secret? The secret is that we all have to recognize that in life, glass breaks, or as they say, spaghetti hits the fan. But the question is, how will we react when glass breaks in life? Will we begin a shouting match, a blaming game, or will we all together shout Mazel Tov as we're about to do after this breaking of the glass and say, glass broke? It's a reason to celebrate. It's a sign for good things to come. It is no doubt in order, as Leonard Cohen, the famous singer, says, to let the light in. Brian and Adeena, we wish you that as you face life, if you find fragments, you should celebrate each and every one of them, find light within darkness, hope within despair, blessing within curse, and goodness, yes, even within evil, and no doubt then will you have a happy marriage. No doubt then that happy marriage will reverberate and bring joy and happiness to the world around you. With your heel, and this is grass, remember. Now, you're going to say a few words before you break it. All right, evoking our plea for the reconstruction of Jerusalem, the rebuilding of our temple. Brian will now lead us with this special verse. Im eshkachech Yerushalayim tidbak. Sorry, Im eshkachech Yerushalayim tishkach yamini tidbak leshoni lechiki im lo ezkerechi im lo a'ale et Yerushalayim al rosh simchati. All right, are we ready? Let's go. There you go, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov. Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. Hey lanu, yay, hey lanu, olechol Yisrael, yay lanu, olechol Yisrael. David. Lech Yisrael, Chai v'kayam. David, Lech Yisrael, Chai v'kayam. All right, this concludes the ceremony, and we're going to be escorted all the way to the Yichud room. Okay, just the two of you. Okay, is there music playing? You don't know? Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as the bride and the groom are now escorted to the Yichud room. This concludes the ceremony again. A hearty Mazel Tov to Adeena and to Brian and to their families and to all of us here. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov, 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 Jonathan. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Renee. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Go follow. Oh, that's fine.
That's why we don't drink.
Jay, you go find the other witness. You have to stand as the bodyguard of the Yichud room. Go.